friend is coming soon. I greet you in the love and the light of the infinite Creator.
5 reasons why it is challenging to set healthy boundaries. The process of boundary setting and perhaps taking space in relationship or breaks is an important one related to our ascension process and arisement of our 5D self, as every relationship we are in is an energy exchange. It is a key aspect of growing and arising into our soul self, as every energy we engage with is a reflection of us. This process of sorting through relationships and setting and being boundaries is an aspect of the transition and awakening into your 4D self from the 3D self. I feel setting a healthy boundary with someone in a relationship as being about the sense that we can no longer be in relationship with them, or we need space from the relationship because it isn't healthy or self-loving for us to do so, or because we just don't have the resonance value ground to be in relationship any longer, even as love remains. A porous boundary would be one that is open to being changed if the person changes, or if the ground of the relationship becomes healthier through inner healing work, soul awakenings, or shifts and choices that happen. Every boundary has a door, just as every fence has a gate. Healthy boundary setting can be done with an open heart, with love and compassion for both the person and ourselves, and before the relationship reaches high levels of toxicity or codependency that is harmful to both sides. This is challenging in our culture, however, and most people struggle a lot with this and how to be with it. Why is it so challenging to set boundaries with people in relationships, even when the level of abuse and toxicity is obvious to us? There are many possible answers to this question that could be applied in a universal way, even as every individual situation is different. 1. One of the reasons it is so challenging to set and be in healthy boundaries is because most of us received no modeling on how to do or be this with our caregivers, and we weren't allowed to set any boundaries with our families prior to adulthood. We are such sponges, absorbing all the energies and emotional tones of our families as we grow up. By the time we are teenagers, we are so filled up with these tones and energies that part of us begins to rebel against what we had no choice in absorbing, which is a form of boundary setting. Some of us continue this rebellion until adulthood, and eventually our boundary setting with family may end up being a complete push away or break from them for a phase of time or for life. Most of us are not invited to set boundaries with our family members, and we wouldn't anyway because of our food and shelter needs that they provide. 3D conditioning is that we are required to deal with whatever we are given or however we are treated without advocating or defending ourselves, and without the opportunity to say no. So, we learn how to live with what we inherited, and the cost to the expression of our authentic self and the development of the ability to set boundaries out of self-love is hugely impacted. Basically, we literally have no idea how to set healthy boundaries because we didn't see and learn how to do it from our families. 2. This leads into the second reason, which is that we don't have enough self-love or core self-worth to lead this navigation of boundary setting. In my awakening and healing process called Soulful Heart, core self-worth is something that emerges after much processing with the parts of us who don't find us worthy and yet are tasked with protecting and defending us, such as our inner punisher critic, our controller protector, our inner matriarch patriarch, etc. These parts of us have developed as internal voices and energies inside of us because of the energies and tones we took in from our caregivers. It is actually an aspect of our self-defense structure to develop these parts of us that keep the messages running that we are not worthy of love or are unlovable or are crazy or whatever the message is. These parts are actually trying to keep us safe by knocking us down first before someone else does, which is what happened in childhood, or before we get too big and do unsafe things. I know this sounds strange, but over 11 years of working with people in subpersonality work, I have seen this over and over again. And, of course, I have felt this in myself. Without an innate sense of core self-worth and self-love, it is very difficult to say no to unhealthy frequencies. Saying no means that we are saying yes to what nourishes us and that we feel that we are worth it. 3. Boundary setting can be challenging because we don't know which ones to set and which part of us is doing it. Sometimes it can feel like we are setting healthy boundaries because part of us has said no to something or a relationship and is shutting it out, But it actually is necessary for us to go into it, or it could lead to our next growth place to go into it. Parts of us, the protector controller again primarily, actually like saying no. But it can be misdirected and misplaced. This part of us can say no to people who are trying to help us by no longer enabling us or by bringing us a tough truth that we don't want to see. Or this part of us can say no to changes that we need to make or tough conversations that we need to have that could bring conflict and more changes. So, this can be a confusing ground to navigate, and asking, which part of me wants this boundary and why, is a very important one. 4. Boundary setting can make us look bad or not nice. For the parts of us that care about our self-image or how others perceive us, it can be very uncomfortable if we are judged by the person, or others, that we are setting the boundary with as mean or not nice. We are so conditioned in our culture around being nice and that it is a good thing '. Even as most relationships, if you go deeper, have a layer of toxicity and falseness in them that has nothing to do with being nice. Many people would rather preserve the self-image of being nice even with someone who is not nice with them and actually treats them badly. This behavior pattern has usually been strongly modeled by one of our parents or both of them. 5. It's challenging and nearly impossible to set boundaries with others if we haven't set them with parts of ourselves. This is a crucial aspect of parts process work, learning when to set a boundary with a part of us when we identify and feel that we don't want their behavior to continue because it isn't self-loving. We literally have to set a boundary with them as the 5D arising higher self sometimes in order to be bigger than the part of us. For example, we feel love for the inner Punisher even as we set a boundary with this part of us to stop beating us down with self-judgments. Or we have to say no to certain things which parts of us used to keep us numb to our deeper feelings. Our growing 4D and 5D self learns to do this in a loving way that is both strong and open. When parts of us feel this energy of healthy boundary setting arise in us, they lean into it. They have been waiting for it our whole lives, and parts of us become relieved because finally an adult is home to say what is nourishing and healthy and what is not. Boundary setting transforms relationships, either by closing them down for a period of time or by opening them up to something new. In my experience, both sides benefit from healthy and porous boundary setting, even if one side is leading it, which is usually the case. Boundary setting doesn't have to be a one-time thing in relationships with a dramatic declaration and big fallout, although that is often what happens if it hasn't been done consistently. In healthy and authentic relationships, boundary setting is something that is being talked about and negotiated, something that just happens organically and, in an intimate relationship, sometimes several times a day. And, it is porous. Meaning it shifts and changes based on the current conditions. It can be porous if both people are working on healing their hearts through inner work and if they are dedicated and committed to serving the love in the relationship. And it feels like in relationships that are mostly based in 5D consciousness frequencies, boundary setting is not even necessary as the oneness connection and soul ground flows between the relationships in most moments. Letting go of what doesn't nourish us in relationships, or in any area of our lives, allows us to let in what really does. It makes space for more love to arise inside of us and in our lives.
Please like us and share with your social media. Please subscribe and click the bell to be notified of our new videos.
Remember to check out our playlist for important intel you may have missed.
Be sure to enter our subscriber appreciation $100 monthly giveaway. The link is in our description.
And visit our sister channel. Event is coming soon. For additional intel and information, stay tuned. Victory of the Light.